please find the link to the repo at the session description. You have to download a lot of things because we're working with LLM. So you may want to grab your LLM as soon as you can. So if you go to the repo, you can start maybe like installing the dependencies, and then also in the repo there's already some, one of the README should have, actually, let me double check. One of the README should have the suggested LLM you could use. You can use your own, but I would suggest using one of these ones. Right. Yeah, it's inside, so it's probably somewhere here. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so either a GPT-2 medium or GPT, no, not GPT-2, GPT-2 small, just GPT-2. That's the one that we will be using here for exercise part 1. Part 2, we'll be using GPT-2 and QN. I think it's called QN, because like Q is I forgot what it means, but it's like, it's a Chinese word, so it's just like, you know, that's why it's a bit funny. So yeah, get those model. I know it will take time, so if you can just start the process now, then we can, you know, then we can just let it do its thing, and then we can have a look, and then see what we are going to do today. There will be there will be a lot of hands-on exercise, actually. So as you can see, we have 3 exercises, and in each exercise, you will have to complete some code. And also, like, you will be running Lighteval to evaluate some of the models. So, yeah. Everybody good? Everybody found the repo? Anybody lost? Anybody don't know what you're doing? It's fine. All the questions are valid questions here. Yes. Any questions? Yes?
How are we downloading GPT-2?
It's on Hugging Face. Yes. Yeah, should be here. Yeah. Yeah, you will see that this script in part 1, there's a script, and then you will see that actually it will be loading the model. So that's how you load it, how you download it. Yeah. Yeah. If you run this script, it won't work at the beginning, of course, because you have to still do some to-dos. But if you can just, like, you know, try to run until here, maybe, so you kind of try to get the model, then you will start downloading from Hugging Face. Cool. Okay. Right, welcome. So I would just start, and then, yeah, again, like, you know, please try to get the repo, at least install the dependencies, and then try to run the first script. You will have an error, but it's fine. We just want to try getting the models in your cache, so next time you run it, it will be faster. So, cool. Let's go back here, and right. So today we are going to evaluate your large language model. So let's just do a basic check. Who have experience using Hugging Face? Good, then we are at a good start, because we'll be using Hugging Face today. And if you have used Transformer in Hugging Face, then that's good. You probably won't have problem completing the first exercise, at least. And then, so what we're gonna do is that go to the repo, and then the repo you will see, I also showed you before that actually there will be, I think it's on this side, yeah. So there will be like 3 parts. We'll see how far we go for this, because 1 hour and a half, you know, some group they complete everything, some group they only complete part 1 and maybe start the part 2. That's okay. You can always continue while you're at home. For each part there will be a README, so you know, if you need to continue at home, you won't get too lost. So each part there will be scripts. So these scripts are actually not completed. So part of the thing, I think, I chat with a friend not too long ago. She's an educator. She said that like the best way to learn is to learn by doing. So that's why I want you to code a little bit today, not from scratch, but at least you gotta check, whether, how does, for example, if you're not familiar with Hugging Face, like, oh, how does the tokenizer work and how does the transformer work? You have to read the documentation, figure it out yourself, and then that's how we're gonna learn. So part one, just, warming up, use transformer to try to, get the model and inference the model and do a little bit of fine tuning. So it's like training with some data set that is also on Hugging Face. So that's what we would do. Second part is that we would actually compare two models. If you see the README, there is a there are some instructions here because from part two we'll be using Lighteval. So Lighteval is basically the star for today. It's a tool also by Hugging Face, and it's a very convenient tool if you are like already using other things from Hugging Face. Lighteval allow you to kind of have a systematic way of evaluating your model to see how well they're doing on certain type of task, and also you can set up a matrix to measure one against the other. So that's what we'll do in part two. Part three will be a more advanced use of Lighteval because you will set up the your own kind of metrics, your own task for it to do. So that's three part here. So far so good. Any questions? Good. Okay, so before we start, I hope you are still downloading things, or if you already got everything in your computer, that's amazing. So yeah, part one I already explained to you what we're going to do. One of the thing, do you know why we want to evaluate the LLM? Any reasons why we need to? Because like I've trained my model, it's good, right? But why we have to evaluate? Yes, make sure it aligns with the expectation, right? Because you may train your model, maybe you think that, oh, now it's good, but then like all the machine learning, right? It's performing well in your training data doesn't mean that it performs well in real life. So that's why we also need to use another data set to check. Or even if you're picking different model, even if you're not fine-tuning a model, right? You can kind of check which model performs better in your specific task, then maybe you would prefer to use that model instead. Cool. Any other suggestions? No? Okay. That's fine, that's fine. One reason is good enough because we don't want to do things when there's no reason. So one good reason is a good reason. Okay. So we will be, like I said, we'll be using Lighteval later from part two and then part three. So it's a very good tool for benchmarking your models. Again, I don't have to give you too much explanation. I assume a lot of people here have experience using Hugging Face, and you're basically, or maybe you have tried to use Lighteval a little bit before as well, so that's good. Another thing is that sometimes I feel that things that people overlook is that it's not just whether the prediction is aligned with what you expected, but also sometimes you want to evaluate the result generated by LLM to make sure that the content are not harmful. That's a very important thing. So if you discover that your model generates harmful content, more than you are comfortable with, then maybe you have to think about putting new mechanisms in your model or your agents to make sure that it is providing the service that you are supposed to do. You're not supposed to generate harmful content, especially if you're like, something in production and they will be used by anyone, including kids, right? So that's very important. Okay, so I won't yap too much. I will just let you jump into it. So let's start with the first exercise. Like I said before, first exercise. So if you got it, you can open the first code here. So what we are trying to do today is that we'll use, so for the first exercise, we'll use GPT-2 as the model. I know it's old. I know it's probably small for this one, but that's good because it runs on your computer. So we don't need a giant cloud, whatever. Probably your MacBook will kind of work if it's not too old. So we'll use transformer. We also use a data set, also a tool from Hugging Face that will get a data set from it. So the data set we are using is actually a mathematic reasoning data set. Where's the link for it? I think, yeah, it's somewhere here, there. Yeah, math fine-tuned. Oh no, this is the one that you want to save after it. So maybe I deleted it because. Just
the GSM 8K data set?
Yes. Yeah, I'm blind. What happened to me? This one, GSM 8K, yes. Oops. Yeah, so you want to load the data set here. So if you are curious, you can actually have a look at the data set. Open on Hugging Face. Let's see what's going on. And see how it looks like. Sorry, it's dark mode because my browser is dark mode, sorry. Yeah, so you will see that this is the data set, and it's basically just question and answer. So that's the math reasoning. We want to train the model so it kind of get better at math. So we'll see if it works or not. It will either work or fail miserably, so it's fine. So yeah, let's just complete the code here. You need to write a little bit of the code to use the tokenizer, just to remind yourself how to retrain a model using Hugging Face transformer. Yep. Good. So I'll let you to work on it. Who has finished the script already? Yes. If you have finished the script, you can maybe think of how you can improve it, because right now it's very bare bone. Probably it won't perform well. So maybe fine-tune some parameter or do some feature engineering, clean up the data a little bit, think about how you can improve it. Okay, how many people has something that is running-ish? Okay, good. Okay, good. Right, so don't worry if you are like, oh, I'm still struggling, that's fine. You can, struggle at home. So we'll move on, have a look at part 2. Like I said, everything is written. You can always complete it somewhere. You can complete it on the train, whatever, as long as you have internet. But let's move on to part 2 so we can have a look at what's going on, because we haven't have our main dish yet, right? We haven't used Lighteval. So let's have a look at Lighteval, and then we can, that's what we are trying to learn today, right? So let's go and have a look. In this example, we were trying to compare. So use Lighteval. So we'll just start with the default setting. Of course, like I said, in part 3, you can have a lot of customization. But that's a bit, further down the line. So we just start with the very basic. So just get Lighteval. So we would, you should have already downloaded because it's in the dependency. So if you have done UVSync or whatever that you install the dependencies, then you will have Lighteval ready. Right now we are trying to compare 2 already trained models. So GPT-2 and then QWEN. I don't know how to pronounce it. They're kind of comparable, and also they have, nowadays most of the LLM actually use the OpenAI. So it's like OpenAI API compatible. So Hugging Face can will understand that. So Lighteval itself, when you pip install it, it's actually come with a CLI tool, so you can use it directly at your console. So what you can do is to just run, so follow these steps, which actually I can have a better formatting. Yeah, Markdown for the win. Oops. Sorry, David. I dropped the mic. Okay. Right. I hope I didn't break anything, but in the meantime, Have a look at the steps. I moved too much, sorry. So have a look at the steps, and right, so you can just use it at the console. Just type, Lighteval, and then the first thing, of course, read the documentation, right? -- help, so you can see what command you have available. The next thing is to check what tasks are available. So this task that is shown in this list, so actually we can do it together, I think. Let me try to do this. Oh. Okay. Do I have Lighteval? I can't remember. Okay. Anyway, so yours should have a list, and then let's put this away for now. Oh, okay. It's just very slow. Okay. Right. So I have a list of tasks. So these ones are actually the built-in tasks that are available. So what are the tasks, right? So the tasks are actually no tasks in this. Oops. What's going on? Okay. Right. Maybe the internet is bad for me. I don't know. What have I done? Okay. So okay, let's ignore that for now. So the tasks are actually the evaluation data. You can think of it that way, because LLM basically it do one thing and one thing only, is to generate text. Well, I mean, kind of. It generates text, so at least GPT-2 and QN is doing the same thing. It will generate the text, and the tasks are actually, you can think of it in a machine learning kind of sense, a set of test data that you want to test the model after you have trained it, or, in this case, we assume that we have 2 models that we have trained, even though we didn't train it ourselves. Then we can compare them. So another thing is there are some parameters that you can use. Of course, the model name, but you can also change the batch size. So if you have a computer that doesn't have that much memory, make the batch size smaller. That would help as well. Right. Another thing, so like you can run evaluation for both of them. Also, the metrics that we're using is just a very basic, it's just like this one, ARC, EC. It's just like the basic evaluation accuracy, like measurement. So it's kind of like comparing the generated result, which are the prediction, to whatever your evaluation task are saved. So you will see both of them will probably give you, a number for the accuracy. It's just like, the metrics. And so they both have a score. Then you can compare them. Right. Yep, another thing is that you can also, so Lighteval, you can use it in command line, so like step 1 to 5, or 4 actually. Yeah, step 1 to 4 are actually command lines, so you just use it at a command line interface. There will be a report printed on the your console, your standard out, so you can look at them. However, sometimes you want to do more systematic things. You may want to write a script because if you only run it once, maybe it's not, sometimes there's some randomness in it. It may be, you don't actually know. We all know, right? Statistically, we need to run the experiment multiple times and then look at the, standard deviation and also like the p-score and all this. So you can actually use Lighteval in a script as one of the process, so you can, do more with it. So so then, the second half of part 2 is to use Lighteval in a script. So again, like there are some missing steps that you have to do, but yeah, this is kind of an example showing how you can use Lighteval in a script. So far, so good. Any questions?
What's RTC? The RTC is just like comparing like how good we do to like how good we predict the next token.
So it's. Do you mean like which?
The metric that we want to use to check which model is better. I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, so the metric, there are actually multiple. So if you go to Lighteval documentation, you will see that there are built-in metrics as well. Right now, we are just using simple accuracy. Of course, you can use different ones, just like, again, like it's basically machine learning, right? You can use different metrics. You can even create your own custom metrics if you want. However, right now, we are just using basic accuracy, just so, again, like, just so you have a script that it runs, and then you can see how things work. But accuracy may not be the best one here because, you know, we are doing math. And if we're like, you know, this is probably like, you know, you can think about it, right? Like this is probably quite silly. There's also this, yeah, so like, again, look at the documentation. You can always find some other tasks, other metrics, other things to use. So, so you can compare them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who is like, I'm done with part 2? Okay, some of you. Not so sure. I see some not so sure. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more time, and then we'll have a quick look at part 3. So at least I will give you a, you know, some idea of where to start for part 3, and then, you know, then we can happily go to the social after. Okay, how's everybody doing? Good, good. Part 2, good. Anybody who want to spend more time on part 2, please let me know. Okay, cool, nice. Okay, let's move on to part 3. So part 3 needs some explanation. So, you know, in case you're still working on part 2, don't worry, just like give it a pause, and then we can go back to it afterwards. So, right, so part 3. So because someone asked me earlier that, oh, how do we evaluate certain things, right? Like the example is that they have a bunch of text, but then it should kind of come up with some number. If some human see it, there should be a number that come out that should be the answer, and then their model should also predict that answer. How can it be compared? Well, I'm pretty sure there's no task doing that like can read that document that, however, is like a bunch of text and then come up with that number, right? Like, you know, that's quite specific. So that's why custom tasks and metrics are quite useful here. So in Lighteval, you can also define a custom task and metrics. You can follow certain format and put them in a Python script, and then so Lighteval will be able to use them. Yeah, you can like, for example, if you can come up with certain like testing data, and then you can put it on Hugging Face Hub, or you can put it locally. You don't necessarily need to upload them. You can also like also create a matrix, which you can hard code it with your own logic. However, do I put it here? Yeah, so there are different ways to evaluate a LLM. You can either use a you know, a hard code logic to you know, to be like, you know, for example, how do I extract that number from that? Maybe you just need to strip all the things and then find the right answer, or maybe it's following some text and then you can just get it out, and then you can find that number from that bunch of text. Or if it's more complicated, it's more flexible, it needs more kind of you know, natural language understanding, then another option is to use another LLM as a judge to do it. So like, yeah, I know it's kind of like a bit strange, right? But you can use another model that you kind of trust, you think it can do that job well, and then do that for you. So right now, so let's look at practically how are we going to do that, right? So part 3, we would put all the custom task into a Python script. So you can see that later when you call Lighteval in the command line or in the script, it's the same, right? You just need to import that, not import, but like, you know, use it as a kind of a input for the command line. If you're using command line, you can use it as an input, then it will, so Lighteval will be able to use that. Let's look at how can we do that, because we need to get a because like we can't just like put in anything, right? You need to follow a certain format. So how do we do that? Is that in Lighteval, the library itself, it actually would have a sampling method and also like all these kind of sampling, what's the name? Sample level metrics. So these are the building blocks. So these are basically, you can imagine they are the template. So you get them from Lighteval, the library, and then you can customize them to create your own. So that's how you do it, right? Yeah, so we have 15 minutes until we got kicked out from the room. Last chance, if you have any questions, not necessarily about custom tasks, it can be anything you can ask. And then, yeah, give it a try. You don't have to finish it. It's just that, try to leave the room and not after 12:30 so we can all go to the social event on time, because I know you all want to have a drink. Right, cool. Oh, and one last thing, because some of you may be already leaving or you can't wait to get a drink. So this is the QR code that I want to see how everyone that I've met at a conference are using AI in their work. So it is a very short kind of survey kind of thing. It's like, a few questions. If you can fill that in, really appreciate that. Again, like you can continue to work on it after this workshop. I hope you can bring that home and then it's useful for you. So yeah, I think that's it from me. So thank you so much.